Hey everyone, welcome to another Will I Buy It. In this video we're going to be chatting about all the new makeup releases. I'm going to be telling you which ones I'm planning to pick up and which ones I'm not interested in at all. And of course let me know in the comments what you think about these new releases. I always love to hear from you. I think today we have a few interesting releases to talk about, so let's get right into this video. So if you haven't been on my channel before, my name is Marley and I love making YouTube videos about makeup and beauty. I love trying out new makeup and keeping up with the new releases, so I do this type of video every 2 weeks. But on my channel I also play with some older palettes, talk about older releases as well, so if that sounds good to you then don't forget to subscribe. I usually upload about 2 to 3 videos a week and I would love to see you again on my channel. So right before filming I actually sprayed a perfume that I hadn't used in a while and I'm feeling a little bit like sniffy and I got a little bit of a headache. I don't know if it's that. I hope it's gonna go away soon, but I just wanted to warn you, if I say anything like weird in this video, it's probably because this makes it a little bit harder to think. So you're warned, that's what's going on. So I'm gonna grab my phone and I'm gonna pull up the new releases. I always put the Instagram pages that I read from down below in the description box, so if you wanna know where I get this news from, you can always check it out there for yourself. And I'm gonna scooch a little bit to the side so I can put up some pictures. Okay, there are some things I'm pretty interested in, at least interested in to talk. So pretty excited for this Will I Buy It episode. Okay, I think I haven't talked about this yet. This is the Spring 2022 collection sneak peek by Too Faced. We have an eyeshadow palette with a bunch of butterflies and pastel shades. It looks very springtime appropriate. I'm not really ready for this type of makeup. I just kind of said goodbye to this type of makeup. I'm not ready yet to see spring releases. I don't really get why brands give sneak peeks so far in advance, because I feel like by the time they release it, the excitement is kind of like died down. I feel like brands should kind of use that excitement of the first month that people actually see the product to sell the product. Because I don't know about you, but it happens often that I'm excited about a product, then think about it for a few weeks or for a month, and then I'm like, you know what? Maybe I don't need it. And this gives me a lot of time to get to that point. So let's just chat about this eyeshadow palette. I think it looks pretty cute, but there's not a lot of depth here and it doesn't seem that special. It's kind of like this typical springtime palette where you have the rosy nudes and then you have a lilac and a green, which I love. I believe I said this already in a video one time, where the palette has like a mint and a lilac and for the rest of it, it has pretty basic neutral shades. I'm way more likely to be excited about because I just love that combination of those pastel tones together with neutrals. I love that, but it's not enough. I know it's not enough to buy palette. So I get excited and then I'm like, you know what? You already have this, don't go for it. You know, I think it's pretty cute, but I'm not that interested in Too Faced. It's not a brand that I really review or want to review on my channel. I don't really feel like a connection to the brand. I feel like sometimes they can be a bit shady. They have been in some drama I'm not a big fan of. So it's like cute, but I don't think I need it. I think it's a bit early. Probably I'm gonna skip on this. Then we have a new eyeshadow palette by Armani Beauty and it's called the Exclusive Eyes to Kill Eccentrico, I think. So it's gonna be a $117 eyeshadow palette that can also be used as a blush or as a highlighter. When I saw this first, I thought it looked more like a cheek palette for sure. It didn't really make me think of an eye palette. I didn't really feel like, oh okay, these are shades that you put on your eye. I feel like it's just kind of like random powders thrown together in a random way in random shapes and then just do with it whatever you want. Just do something with it. It's makeup, it's powders, it's color powders, do whatever. That's kind of like what I feel like with this. Yeah, I don't think this is a very interesting release. I'm not really into it. I don't really get it. I wouldn't use it as eyeshadow, but It's also like so hard to use as a blush or highlighter when it's like random patches of colors like this. I'd rather have something that makes more sense, where it's easier to pick one color or the other. Also, it's just so expensive. So expensive. And I don't know if Armani Beauty is actually good. I haven't tried it. I don't know. Has anyone tried it? Does anyone know if it's good? I did see a video where someone tried one of their cream blushes, and I actually thought that looked pretty interesting, but I didn't really feel like I needed it in the end, so I didn't get it in the end. It's a bit of a weird release and it's nothing that I need. Then we have a Hipdot and Game Night collaboration. What does that mean? What is Game Night? It says here 2021 Hasbro. So maybe it's like Game Night, but actually it's Hasbro. Is that like the brand of these games? So we have once again Monopoly makeup. I didn't see that coming. I don't know if you did, but I didn't think that we were gonna have Monopoly makeup this year. And then we also have a how is this pronounced? Ouija? I'm sure I saw a movie about this once, like a horror movie where they did this Ouija board. I'm not entirely sure. And then we also have Play-Doh. That's like the thing I always wanted to play with as a child, but never really did. I don't know what was up with that, but that was something I was always kind of interested in, but never really got. But okay. This is not a collection that really speaks to me, that really inspires me. As I already told you, I'm not really a big fan of Monopoly. I thought it was pretty boring because it took so long and I was pretty bad at it. That also definitely played a role. Also just this Monopoly layout, I think, is going a bit far. I get it, but I wouldn't want it in an eyeshadow palette. I wouldn't want to have a palette that's laid out like this. Yeah, I'm not really interested. This is the type of release that I would just scroll past without thinking about it if I didn't do a video like this. I'm just like, meh, don't care, don't need it. Not interested in this collab or this brand. Then we have a new Hydro Grip Eyeshadow and Concealer Primer by Milk Makeup. It's an invisible hydrating primer that smooths the skin and locks down color to prevent creasing, fading and smudging. It's gonna be $24. It's already available. I would love for eyeshadow primers to actually work for me. I would love to be the person that just could buy a random eyeshadow primer and then it would work. At least it wouldn't be like a creasy mess. But I don't trust basically any eye primer because my eyelids are so oily and I just can't imagine what eye primer would really work. And especially when it says something like this, like smoothing and hydrating, I'm like, I don't know if that's gonna work for me. I'm just really skeptical and I don't really want to pay such a price for an eye primer when I think it's probably not gonna work. I always think it sounds interesting, but eye primers rarely work out for me. And I have something that works that's really affordable. So then, should I try other things? I did get a comment, I think a few weeks ago, a few months ago, of someone who said they also had really oily eyelids. And that person said that the MAC eye primer was really good, I believe. So I'm kind of thinking maybe I should get that one at some point. So I wouldn't really go for this one. I would go for one where I've heard someone with really oily eyelids say this one works for me. So I think it's a pretty interesting release, but I'm just too scared to buy things like this. I'm just not gonna do it. So I don't know if I actually talked about this because I don't always talk about like brand announcement where there's someone who has started a new brand because that's just happening all the time. I can't keep up. I don't always like to talk about those things unless we have some product reveals, but Ariana Grande is coming out with R.E.M Beauty and she is gonna come out with some brow products, mascara, eyeliner, lip products, under eye brightener, stuff like that. This is a brand that's probably not gonna be available to me right away, or maybe not even in a year. Rare Beauty, I don't think I can get Rare Beauty yet. I think it's available in Sephora stores in Europe, but the Netherlands doesn't have a Sephora, so I can't get that. And that's been out for a while. So I'm gonna get excited about brands like this when I've seen some things that I might enjoy, like some product reveals, and if I know I'm gonna be able to get it. If I can't get it, then I don't wanna like get my hopes up, get excited about it. With every celebrity brand, I'm kind of hopeful, like slightly hopeful. Maybe it could be interesting, maybe there could be something. I don't know what that's about, because also often it's just like a cash grab and it's not that great. Like House Labs was pretty disappointing. I'm always kind of excited to see what the brand is gonna be about. Like I want to see, but sometimes it's also just really disappointing. I'm not sure, I'm not sure how to feel. There are so many celebrity brands coming out all the time. Maybe I'm just a little bit naive. I'm always a bit like, maybe this time they will come out with something interesting. But yeah. Okay, we have some holiday 2021 sneak peeks, and this was posted by Trend Mood. On this picture, I see a mini Natasha Denona palette with some neutral tones, some mustardy shades, and then a teal. You might know that I'm not that into Natasha Denona. It's like the door is not completely closed. It's like a little bit of air is still coming through, and there is like a slight small possibility that I'm gonna buy anything from her, but I just haven't been that impressed, and it's pretty expensive, and I just don't know if this is like the brand for me. I think her mattes that I've tried are pretty good, but the shimmers don't do it for me. The shimmers are just not special at all to me in comparison to other cheaper brands that I've tried. I love Nabla shimmers so much better. I love Kaleidos. I love Oden's Eye. Shimmers like that just really are worth a higher price tag to me, but they are pretty like affordable. And then I compare it to Natasha Denona. I'm like, it's fine, but do I really want to pay for like a $65 palette for the shimmers to not be good? I love shimmers too much. So I don't know if this is really like the brand for me. And then this eyeshadow palette, this color story isn't really something I would enjoy, I think. I think basically the only thing I would like from this would be that teal shimmer and maybe like the neutral matte shade, but it's not something really new for me, not something really new in my collection. So I don't think I'm gonna be picking this up. Then we also have a bunch of really cheap looking Too Faced holiday stuff. They just make this stuff for you to gift to your niece or your little sister. It's makeup that is not really makeup. It is makeup, but it's from people that don't really care. This is not made for like the makeup consumer. This is made for just giving a gift and not really caring about the quality. I think this kind of stuff, I think it sells really well around the holidays. I do think so, because it looks really cute, the packaging is really cute, and it looks very like teen appropriate. If you have like a young teen in your life that's into makeup, then this is great for gifting, but it's not gonna compare to actual high quality makeup that also exists. So I'm never interested in this type of stuff. Then we also have some Tarte makeup. I'm not really interested in Tarte. I don't know, it just looks kind of basic. I'm not really that interested in the brand. Yeah, that's kind of all I have to say about this. Then we have a new skincare brand by Nikkie Tutorials. It's called Nimya. I haven't seen the reveal video or the release video. It was a reveal video because it's not released yet, I believe. I used to watch all her videos, but that's quite a while ago, so I wasn't like super excited that she was doing a brand. I was a bit surprised though, because when I was still watching her, she said that she didn't want to start her own brand. So that was a while ago, but I didn't know that she changed her mind, so I was pretty surprised. I'm not really interested in skincare launches right now, because I have my skincare that I really like and really works for me, and I don't want to change it up all the time. And I also don't want to add too many active ingredients to my skincare routine. I don't want to like freak my skin out, and I'm a little bit scared to add too many things. So I'm not gonna try anything new of these new skincare lines that are being released. What I do think is that these colors that she chose, it's like the Dutch colors, but done like in a very sophisticated, fancy way. I really like the packaging and how she combined those colors. Because like the Dutch flag is like red, white and blue, and then the national color is orange. And I think this packaging just looks really nice, really beautiful. It's like showing off the Dutch colors and flag without it looking too cheapy. I really enjoy like the vibe of this brand, but I just don't need this. Then we have some new Hourglass face palettes that are, I think, already available, almost available. We have an Ambient Lighting Added Universe palette and another one, Ambient Lighting Added Universe Unlocked. And one is a bit lighter and one is a bit deeper. Then we also have a new palette that I think is not gonna be limited edition, and this is the Ambient Lighting Palette Volume 3. And this is more catered towards deeper skin tone. I'm always slightly interested in these releases, but if I'm being realistic and really like looking at it shade per shade, then what do I really want? What do I really want from these palettes? And then I always realize, or almost always realize, that it's mostly about one shade. And then it's like way too expensive. So the palette that I like the most is the light one. And then that infinity powder that's in there, I'm a bit like skeptical about it. I don't really get it. I don't really get what's the point. What am I supposed to do with it? I haven't heard the best things about it. Then we have the bronzer that looks really, really warm. I think if I would pick a bronzer, I would pick something else. Then we have the highlighter. Looks cute, but nothing special. Then we have the brighter blush. Could be nice. And then we have like the rosy shade that's a bit of a more neutral blush. And that's the one that I would like to have. But even then I'm like, do I need this? Do I really need this? Like the one called Luminous Rose. I like it, but is it worth spending so much money? I don't think so. I don't think I can justify this. Also the packaging, I don't hate it, don't love it. I like it better than what they had last year. I didn't really like that. I think for me it would be better to just pick the shades that I would love to wear and then just buy that. I think I would get more use out of that and I would get more like bang for my buck. I'm just like, do I need all these shades? And I don't think so. I will be keeping an eye on it. Maybe they release a single again that I really like. I have one Hourglass Blush that I really like. It's not like I use it all the time, but I was really happy with that particular color because it was more of a special color. And I don't think that all the colors in here are like speaking to me enough and are special enough. I think it is good to see that they are thinking a bit more about deeper skin tones. I think they're making more of an effort, but I don't think they are there yet. I don't think it's enough just yet. Yeah, I feel like I'm kind of still making up my mind about these palettes, but at the same time I know I'm not gonna buy this because it's just too much. It's just too big of a chunk out of my budget for something that I don't love completely. If I would buy a palette like this, I wouldn't want it to have like one big shade. I would want it to have 6 shades that I really, really love, and I would want to love the packaging. So that's kind of like how I feel at this point. Maybe if it goes on sale that I will be more interested. Part of me is kind of interested in Hourglass and a part of me is always like, it's so expensive. Do you need it? Probably not. Then Too Faced is also sneak peeking some more products, and we have a Clover blush, I think. This looks kind of cute, but once again not like something I need or want. I'm really someone who is into certain brands and then I will buy a lot from that brand. But if I'm not into a certain brand, then chances of me buying things, it's just really small. So this is not for me. It's like cute, but there are so many cute makeup products. I don't have to buy things just because they're cute. Then we have some new minis eyeshadow palettes by Colored Rain. We have a green one, a more reddish warm toned one, a more purpley pink one, and a neutral one. And these are coming soon, it says here. I don't know if they are already available. This post is already pretty old. None of these color stories really speak to me, and that's always what I kind of feel like with Colored Rain. I've heard pretty good things about their eyeshadow formula, except for that fruit palette. I feel like nobody really liked that, but other eyeshadow palettes I heard great things about. I could see myself picking up some Colored Rain at some point, but I don't think it's gonna be this. I don't think these color stories are interesting enough, and there's like so many eyeshadow palettes coming out. I'm trying so many eyeshadow palettes, and I have ordered eyeshadow palettes, or I'm planning to order eyeshadow palettes, and I just can't add eyeshadow palettes that are just okay looking to me to that list, so this is not gonna be it for me. Then we have the skincare by Juvia's Skin, or Juvia's Place. It's called Juvia's Skin, and they were revealing everything that's gonna come out. I don't know if it's already, yeah, it's already available. We have a bunch of different products. They're kind of like mid-range priced, a little bit more expensive than what I like to pay for skincare. I think it looks pretty interesting. We have some pretty interesting products. We have some cute packaging. But as I said, I don't really want to mess with my skincare routine right now. I don't really feel like doing that, and I also don't really feel like paying a higher price than I'm doing right now. I'm fine with how things are now. Maybe if I see some reviews, maybe if people say it's changing their skin, it's changing their life, I would pick up like one thing sometime. But right now I'm not that interested. Then we have some new Ultra Precision lip pencils by Melt Cosmetics. I'm not really in the market for lip pencils right now. I don't really feel like buying any lip pencils because I'm basically using the same lip pencil every time I do my makeup. I think if I would buy a lip pencil, it would be a really specific color. I don't know how many colors are here. I don't know how many they are gonna have, but maybe I would buy like a dark wine red, or wine red with a little bit of a pinky undertone, something like that. That could be the case. But then probably it's not going to be by Melt. Maybe then I will just pick up one from NYX or Colourpop, something like that. Yeah, I'm not really gonna buy this. Then we have a new collection by Colourpop. It's called the Plush Like Me collection, and it's inspired by the 90s. We have an eyeshadow palette, a lot of lipsticks, cheek products, a bunch of things. So let's chat about this eyeshadow palette. I don't think it looks that special. I don't think it looks like anything new. I don't think it looks like anything I need. Colourpop does a lot of palettes that kind of look like this, and yeah, I don't really need it. It doesn't really interest me. I'm gonna forget this in like a week. I'm gonna forget that this ever existed. R.E.M Cosmetics is coming out with some new liquid to powder sun-soaked high shine highlighters. There are 3 shades, a fair, light, medium tan, and dark rich. They are available now. I don't know how much these are gonna be. I've never tried anything by R.E.M Cosmetics. I've heard some good things, but I don't even know if I can easily get this, how much it would be. Probably I would have to pay pretty high shipping and taxes. And for that, I'm just not interested enough yet. I feel like I'm not like warmed up to the brand enough yet to go for it. I'm like slightly interested. There's a part of me that's like, oh, I will keep an eye on it, but I don't think I'm gonna buy anything by R.E.M anytime soon. Anastasia Beverly Hills revealed their Holiday 2021 palette. They are releasing kind of like a rosy toned neutral eyeshadow palette. I believe this is the first palette they have released in a long time. It's been a while, and part of me kind of likes it. Part of me is kind of interested, but part of me is also like, why? Why are there 2 big ass eyeshadow shades? I don't like that. I don't really like when they decide for you what shade you're gonna use the most, because those wouldn't be the shades I would use the most. So then give me some extra shades. That's what I would want. I don't want that. And also the shade like Saddle, that one big pan, is so similar looking to the shade Rouge. So then Like 1/4 of the palette is basically the same shade. I don't need that. So yeah, I think it's kind of pretty. It is kind of pretty, but I don't feel like I need it, and I don't like the layout. I also don't know if it would add enough to what I have from Anastasia. I have the original Norvina palette, and I think that's enough. It's kind of cute, but I don't think that's gonna be enough for me to get it. Kind of cute doesn't cut it right now. There's too much makeup that I want to try. This is not gonna be enough. I feel like this is a color story that I would be all over, like maybe a few years ago, if I didn't have so many other options. I have all of this. Gucci is coming out with a new eyeshadow palette. It's the Beauté de Jeu Floral eyeshadow palette, and it's $149. Woo! It's looking pretty like a vintage, pretty like what makeup used to look like a few decades ago. Whew, I don't know, that's really expensive. I feel like there's something interesting about the Gucci brand, but at the same time it always looks a little bit cheapy to me. Like, it's really expensive, but it looks a little bit cheap. The outside I quite like, but then the inside, the way those pens are shaped, I don't like it. I wouldn't buy this. I wouldn't even consider buying something so expensive. It's not worth it to me. Like, part of me is kind of interested to see if this is good. If I would see a video, I'd probably watch it, but this I'm never gonna buy. Then we have a new collaboration between Morphe and Ashley Strong. I don't know who this is. We have an Affirmation Magic Artistry palette, strong lip duos, and a cake liner palette. I'm not interested. I feel like there are a lot of quite similar eyeshadow palettes coming out with those grungy greens, some blues, some purpley tones, some neutrals, maybe an olive. Like, eyeshadow palettes are kind of starting to look the same, and I don't want to buy all the same eyeshadow palettes. Not that I would consider buying anything Morphe. I don't really see that happening anytime soon. There's just this really particular trend going on, which I really understand because it's fall and these are the colors that people like to wear them. But it's like, we've seen this. We've seen these types of palettes, and yeah, it's nothing special. It's kind of cute, but also nothing really interesting. LYS Beauty is coming out with a new The Glow Beyond collection with highlighters. There's gonna be an Aim High multi-use liquid highlighter. There's also gonna be a pressed highlighter powder. The liquid one and the pressed one are both $19. There's also a Think Bright Glow and Hydrate serum. This is gonna be available today. I think LYS is quite an interesting brand. I'm kind of keeping an eye on them, but they don't ship to the Netherlands. Can't get it, so I'm not gonna be too excited about these types of launches. Probably it's gonna take quite a while before I can get something like this. It does look pretty cute, but I'm not gonna think about this too much because I can't get it. So why waste that energy now? Maybe by the time I can get it, that I will really like go through the site, see what they have, see what's interesting. What I would like to try from them is one of their blushes. I would like to try something like that. I'm also a bit like, there are so many beautiful powder highlighters like all around, everywhere. Like, there are so many different options and I don't really feel like I'm missing something. I don't really feel like this is gonna add something. So I don't really mind not being able to get that right away. Then the Charlotte Tilbury Instant Eye Palette in Smoky Eyes Are Forever is being released soon. I believe there was like an early access or something like that. There are also some limitless Lucky Lips in this collection that are a long wear ultra matte finish lipstick. I'm not really interested in this. I don't really care for the color story that much. Like, it's not special enough or interesting enough for me to get it. It's also, these eyeshadow palettes are just a little bit too expensive for me. I think if these were like $60 or maybe $55 or $60, something like that, then probably I would be more inclined to try it. But now I'm just like, $7 25. No, I'm not gonna do that. It's not interesting enough. It's pretty similar in color story to some palettes I already own. It's just kind of like that kind of basic fall color story that I've seen before, which is fine if it's a cheaper palette, but I wouldn't really want that in such an expensive... I think if it's an expensive palette, then or I would want a really interesting, really special color story, or I would want something that I would know I would reach for every day. And that's not this. This is not any of those options. I'm also not really looking for any matte lipsticks right now. I'm more into like glowy, satin, things like that. So I'm not gonna be buying any of it, but the swatches look quite pretty. I like how this looks on the lips. The Nessa Myrix is coming out with the Infinite Chrome Flakes. We have a bunch of interesting shades. We have some beautiful eye looks. This is gonna be a bit too much for me. I like shimmery eyeshadows. I like interesting textures. But flaky shadows are just not really my thing. Not really what I want. It's just a little bit too much. It's just too textured. It's just so chunky that I don't really like it anymore for my eyeshadow. I like these eye swatches. I like how this looks on the eye. I like seeing it on other people. But I know I don't want to wear things like this. I don't really feel like wearing things like this. It's just a little bit too much. It's so textured. It's almost like, I don't know, crocodile skin or something like that. It makes me think of that. And this is really something that you have to enjoy, have to like, that you have to be into, like this amount of texture. It's like next level. It's almost like art on your eyes, and that's not exactly what I want to go for. Yeah, this is just a bit too much for me, but I think that people are going to be pretty interested in this. This is already available on their website. I don't know how much these are. It doesn't say, but pretty interesting, not for me. Then we have the new Holiday 2021 collection by Pat McGrath. We have a Celestial Odyssey palette, 18 new shade for $78. Pretty similar to what she did last year, I think. And then we have some Divine Blush and Glow Trios. Then we have some Celestial Odyssey Luxe Quads that look kind of familiar. Like, are these new or are these old? We also have a Skin Fetish Sublime Skin Highlighter in Lunar Nude, Lust Luxe Lip Balm, Legendary Luxuries Sets. This is coming soon to Pat McGrath's website. This is not really that interesting to me. This is not really something I'm like, I want to get that. That eyeshadow palette, it's still pretty expensive, and I don't really love the colors in there, and I don't really love the layout. For some reason, the blushes by Pat McGrath don't really look like something I'd enjoy. Something about the embossing and the way they look in photos, I don't really care for it. I don't think it's gonna be that interesting. Probably it's really nice when I apply it, but I don't think it's interesting enough in the photos to like really go out and try it. The squats look like something we've seen before. The highlighter, I don't think I need that. To me, this isn't really like an interesting release. I've never really tried anything Pat McGrath, so I'm also not like a fan of the brand, but this is not really pulling me in, so I'm gonna skip on that. Then we have some news about Becca Cosmetics. Smashbox is actually gonna offer a few of their products. So they were gonna go out of business this month, like totally, but they are keeping on the Champagne Pop highlighter and the under eye correctors. These will be available in October on Smashbox website. These are not products I was gonna miss, but it kind of doesn't surprise me because these were the products that they were shoving down our throats like for years, and they're just still not letting it go. They're not gonna let it go. They're just gonna keep trying to sell us Champagne Pop. And if you're like that one person that still wants to try it, here you go. It's still available. You can still get it. I just think it's funny. It's like all Becca is in the end is almost like Champagne Pop. That's all they are. That's just what they are as a brand. That's their brand identity. It's like if you are a person that loves plants or something like that, and that's like becoming your whole personality. That's all you think about, all you talk about. Let's like this. I think it's pretty funny. Then Jeffree Star is coming out with a fall collection. It's called the Pricked Palette. We have some velour liquid lipstick, Supreme Gloss, Supreme Frost. I don't know if I want to say the name of the mascara. Velour lip scrub, crown hand mirrors. Bunch of bundles. They're going to be available September 24th. Looking at this, I'm kind of like glad that I'm not that into this brand anymore and that I found other brands that I'm more excited about. Because we have so much like wasted space because he puts it into this kind of bag like packaging that's so big and maybe it's a bit less bulky than other things that he did. Looking at the swatches, I don't think I would need this. I don't think I would have needed this. You know what? I remember what I wanted to say about this. You know what it is with Jeffree Star? His like monochromatic palettes are like what the Orgasm Blush is for NARS, and what Ruby Woo is for MAC, and what Champagne Pop is for Becca. That's what this is. He's just staying in his comfort zone, and he's just bringing out these palettes that once really worked, that people once really wanted to buy. This is what really made his brand famous. His really colorful monochromatic palettes, people loved it. But that was years ago when there wasn't much color on the market. Colourpop hadn't started their whole monochromatic like line yet. So it was really special back then. But now I feel like people want to see color stories. They want to see some inspiring color stories. And this is just doing the same thing again and again, but with a different color. Just with a different color. That's just what I'm seeing here. His comfort zone is doing monochromatic palette and people are bored of it, and I just don't think it's that interesting anymore. But it's also partly because I was really biased at first and thought everything he did was so revolutionary. Don't really think that anymore, so that will also play a role, but I think there's not much creativity in this collection. Then another Too Faced reveal. This is the Forbidden Fruitcake mini eyeshadow palette for $27. I don't care. I honestly couldn't care less. I don't care. It doesn't look interesting to me. We have that brown to green blue duochrome that I guess makes it kind of interesting, but at the same time it's like the most basic duochrome there is. I don't care. Let's move on. Colourpop revealed their new collaboration with Hocus Pocus. This is their round 2 collection. There's a 12 pan palette, a Fresh Kiss lip grams, Super Shock shadows, spider face stamp and a hand mirror. I don't think this palette looks really interesting. It doesn't really inspire me. I don't really feel like it gives me a full look. I also think the packaging looked way better last year. I think this packaging with the orange and the purple is just a bit too bright and a bit childish. I loved the black a lot more. And that's coming from someone who isn't that much into black usually, but I loved the black in comparison to this. And I also saw a photo of someone comparing this palette to like the bottom right corner of the new It's a Mood palette, and it was like exactly the same except for one shade was a little bit different. So if you have the It's a Mood palette, it's like the same, and that's like one of the last palettes they released before this. I don't think this is a very interesting release. I like the other release more. I'm also not really into this movie. I've never seen it. I don't know what it's about. I'm really not aware of like American foods and pop culture and children movies that much. There were just really specific things that I enjoyed as a child and it wasn't Hocus Pocus. So there's nothing here pulling me in, interesting me. I just think this is like the more lazy, less interesting version of the collection that they did last year. I think they should have stuck to re-releasing that collection maybe, or I don't know, why is it like this? Why does it look so uninspiring? I don't get it. I don't like it. Okay, we have a new collection by Sigma Beauty. They're collaborating with Cinderella. There's gonna be an eyeshadow palette for $49, a cheek duo palette for $35, lip duo for $29, and a fairy tale brush set for $82. The full collection is going to be $156 and it's going to be available September 23rd on their website. Okay, this is another palette that I would have been interested in another time. But at this point, it's competing with so many other palettes with pretty similar color stories. It's like, on its own, it's pretty interesting. But once again, we have those neutrals with a few purples and a few like maybe grungy greens or blues. I feel like we've kind of seen this. Like, there are so many palettes coming out that are kind of similar, and I don't feel like I need this right now. If this didn't have to compete with any other releases, if this had come out at a time that not much was being released and I hadn't just bought a bunch of makeup, then maybe I would have gotten this. I'm pretty interested in Sigma, I'm pretty interested to try them. But in the end, often they can't really convince me. And with me, it's kind of like, once I get into a brand... Wait, okay, I can explain this better. It usually takes quite a lot for me to get into a brand for the first time. But once I get into a brand, I'm really into the brand, and I will probably purchase more from them if I liked what I tried. For example, Oden's Eye, it took me quite a while to go for one of their releases. I just wasn't sure enough if I loved the brand. Like how they did their palettes, I wasn't sure. It took me even a while after the Norns palette was released to actually get it, to actually order it. And once I got that, I was like, I want to try more. And I'm like really into the brand, buying the new releases. I'm really excited to hear what else they're coming out with. And I'm into it now. And I'm like committed. And I kind of feel like with Sigma that it could be that way. Once they come out with a palette that's special enough, that really pulls me in, I think if I would love the brand, I would be willing to buy other color stories, that they've had before that didn't attract me because I didn't know about the quality, but I want it because of the quality that I know that I like it. This is getting a little bit confusing maybe, but okay. I just need something more to really get into this brand. I just need something more. And this could have been the palette, but it's just not the time, and it's just not adding enough right now, because I really feel like there are so many palettes coming out that are pretty similar, that are just like similar in color story, and I can't buy all the palettes that are like that. I just can't go for all these palettes. So I decided to not get this, even though I was really interested. But to be realistic, I don't need these colors. And I was also kind of debating about that cheek palette, but the $35 I think is a bit expensive for 2 colors. I don't think I'm gonna go for that. I was actually really excited to see this at first. Actually really excited. But I feel like I have these colors or they're coming into my life, so yeah. Decided not to get it. Then we have a new Makeup Revolution collaboration with The Corpse Bride. I actually saw this movie. I've seen this movie and I quite liked it. It's quite a cool, spooky movie. But this collection doesn't look like anything interesting to me. I'm not really into this. I'm not really like... It doesn't really matter what Makeup Revolution does. Just the fact that it's them makes it less interesting to me. Just the fact that their name is on the packaging just makes me go like, oh, okay, I don't really care. I don't know what it is. Just the fact that it's them makes it look a little bit more cheap and uninteresting. Maybe I'm too harsh. I don't really like this brand. So Morphe has another collaboration. This one is with Sour Patch Kids. I've never heard of this. I have no idea. I don't know. Like, I'm too Dutch for this. I'm too Dutch for this stuff. I don't know. I guess it's some kind of candy that people eat in the States, but I've never ever seen this. This is gonna be available September 23rd. You know, the bottom row I actually think looks pretty nice. I think in this photo it looks like that could be pretty nice shimmers. I quite like the look of those, but the rest of the palette is like, I wouldn't need that. I just really love kind of toned down purple shimmers that have a little bit of gray in them. Maybe a little bit of a duochrome, something like that. That's what I like. So I saw the bottom row and I was like, that's pretty nice, but Chantecaille is coming out with a new holiday collection with 3 different products. There's a Pearl Lumiere Highlighter Balm for $110, a Lumiere Eye Sheen for $75, and a Rouge Pearl Blush for $75. So Chantecaille is actually a brand where I feel like if they were cheaper, if they were like a lot cheaper, if they were like half of the price, I definitely would have tried them. Because even though I don't love this packaging, I usually love how the things look that they do. I love how their promo shots look. I love the packaging usually. They do a lot of things with like animals, which I love. Anything with animals. I love like nature on packaging. That's really something I enjoy. But they're too expensive for me. At this point in my life, I'm not gonna buy Chantecaille. Like, it looks cute. It's a bit random though that they have these products. Like, it doesn't really feel like a collection. I think if I would buy anything, I would go for the blush. But I don't really need like a rosy blush for this price. I don't need it. We have so much to talk about. I don't know how long this video is by now, but I've been talking for an hour. Like literally an hour. Midas Cosmetics is collaborating with Cole NUA and they are releasing the Surfed Soft Eyeshadow Palette. It's kind of like a warm toned neutral eyeshadow palette. It looks pretty cute. Midas Cosmetics is a brand that I would be interested in to try at some point. Don't know if this is gonna be it. This is just not the time for me to try new brands, I feel. Maybe I will, but probably I won't because there's so much coming out. There's so much I want to review, so I don't think this is gonna be it, but it looks pretty interesting. Flower Beauty has launched their Forbidden Fruit eyeshadow palette. It's an eyeshadow palette with 10 matte eyeshadows. Oh wait, it has 10 matte eyeshadows, shimmering eyeshadow shades, and metallic eyeshadow shades. It's gonna be $15. I think it looks pretty cute. It looks pretty nice. I've recently tried some Flower Beauty and I actually quite like the brand. But here in the Netherlands, there are not a lot of their products that are available. I don't think this is going to be available. There's just like a really limited selection of the products. So I'm not really gonna hope to see any of the like really interesting new releases there. I'm just gonna keep an eye on the brand, but I can't really like think about these new releases. I'm not gonna pay too much attention to it because I probably can't get it, but it looks like a pretty cute palette. Menagerie Cosmetics is coming out with the Indigo Ink collection, and this is actually pretty different from what I expected from this collection. We have a lot of like minty shades, bright red, bright orange, mustard, blue. There's not really like purple in here. It's not like an inky palette to me. It's not really what I would associate with like an indigo ink palette. I think there are some beautiful looking shades in here. I think it looks quite pretty, like the shimmers. I like the look of those. But this color story isn't really something I like. It's too bright and primary. There are colors here that I wouldn't combine. I wouldn't buy this palette as a whole. Maybe if one time they are releasing some of these shimmers separately, that I would pick something up, but I don't know. Part of me does want to buy some more Menagerie, but part of me is also like, do I want to pay 50 euros extra to get some things from this brand? It's a lot. I have to pay a lot to get things from this brand, so I'm thinking maybe at some point I want to get the beds, like the fruit bed palette. What was it called? I don't remember, but the purple palette that they came out with, maybe I would buy that one. I'm kind of interested in the brand, but I don't know. Maybe if they have like a good Black Friday sale. They also said that they weren't gonna do like a full restock anymore and just restock things when they're ready. That also makes it a little bit less interesting for me to buy their things, because then I would probably have to do multiple orders and then it would get too expensive to get everything I want. I just don't know if I want to try any more Menagerie. I kind of do, but it's kind of too expensive. Now, one of the most interesting releases, I think, of this episode is the Oden's Eye Cosmetics Legendary Diversa collection. They collaborated with 3 different influencers from different backgrounds to each create their own color story that's kind of like around a mythical creature that's related to their heritage. And I think that's so interesting and so cool. And I think this is such a well done collection. We have very different palettes that look like they could really work together well. And there's like something for everyone here. We have a bright palette, we have a more muted palette, and then we have a more neutral palette. I think all three of these color stories look amazing. I was really impressed when I saw the photos at first. And you might know that Oden's Eye is like one of my favorite brands now. I'm so excited when they release things. And when I saw that there was like a collaboration collection, and when I saw these color stories and the videos that they did, I was like, I don't know how I'm gonna choose. I don't know how I'm gonna choose between these palettes. I knew for sure that I wanted to get the Annette one because that's just such a good color story. And this is kind of like the palette for me that I want when it comes to those grungy greens in combination with purples and blues. When it comes to that kind of color story, I'd rather get this one than the Sigma Cinderella eyeshadow palette. They give me kind of similar vibes. So this just gives it to me. This just gives me everything when it comes to that type of color story. I don't think I need anything else. But okay. I bought all three of these. I just didn't know how to choose. I thought they all looked very beautiful, but also I just could see all the combinations that you could do with these palettes. They look like they could work together so well. I don't know how they did that because we have three different collaborators just doing their thing, but I think these look so good together. I can't wait to get this. These were already available. They are $34 each, or 27.90 euros. Yeah, I'm just so excited about this collection. Congratulations to the collaborators. This all looks so good. I love how they did this. I love the artwork. I think they put the collaborators on the front in quite a tasteful way. I think sometimes putting like a name and the face of a collaborator on a palette can make it a little bit tacky. But with this artwork, I can definitely live. I just love how they do the packaging over at Oden's Eye. I'm so excited about this collection. Can't wait to try it out. Can't wait for it to get to me. Let me know what you want to see with this. Do you want to see multiple looks with each of these palettes? Or do you want to see like one look with each palette in one video? What do you want to see? Let me know. I can take it into account. Nomad Cosmetics has revealed the Haunted Euro palette. This is kind of like the same story as the Cinderella palette. I would love to try Nomad Cosmetics. I have a feeling that I would really like their formula. I would really like their eyeshadow palettes. I think they are a brand that would probably cater to my makeup taste. But this color story is too similar to other things that I'm buying. I think it's too similar to the Annette palette by Oden's Eye, and I don't need all these similar palettes. If this would have come out at a different time where I didn't have all these other palettes releases competing with it, I probably would have picked this up because I quite like this color story. The packaging is a little bit spooky for my liking, but I still like it. It's okay, it's spooky, but I get the theme. It's quite cool how they did this. I like this. I quite like the aesthetic of this brand, how they do their packaging, how they do their reveals. I like how this looks and I would have bought this, but I just can't justify buying all these similar palettes right now, and I just chose the Oden's Eye one and that's what I'm gonna stick to. I don't want to have all the similar color stories. I don't want to have that. Like the Annette one has the smoky purples and has some green and pink and blue. It just has what I need, and I can't also buy this one. I do really like it. I'm curious to see videos, but I couldn't buy this in the end, and I'm happy with my decision. I'm happy that I didn't go for this one in the end, although I really want to try this brand. There is gonna be a point in the next year or so that I'm definitely gonna be trying this brand. I think it's a really interesting indie brand. My voice can't handle this anymore. I've been talking for so long. Since when are there so many makeup releases? This is gonna be like the longest episode since I've started this. This is gonna be so long. Okay, let me see. There are some last things that I want to talk about. We're almost done. we have some sneak peeks from Glowish blushes. This is gonna be the Glowish Cheeky Vegan Blush Powder. We have a Healthy Peach and Caring Coral shade. This I saw on the Instagram of Angel Naked 1. I don't know if it's like a sneak peek, if this is like something that Glowish or Huda Beauty wants to be out in the world yet. But it's looking like they're bronzers, but just in like a more blush colored swirl in like the same packaging as the bronzers. I think, to be sure, I'm not gonna be showing it to you right here on the screen. It's on the Angel Naked 1 Instagram. You can check it out over there, just so I don't have to like remove this video or something like that. I'm not entirely sure because I haven't seen it anywhere else, but I think these colors look pretty interesting. I'm kind of intrigued to try it. When Glowish first was released, I wasn't that into it, but I'm kind of warming up to the brand. So if these blushes get good reviews, I might check them out. I might want to try one, maybe on a deal, maybe on a sale. I'm slightly intrigued. I like how these look, but this is also a release that I could very well be feeling very differently about this in a week or so. And maybe in a week or so I will be like, nah, it's not something for me anyway. I kind of liked it when I first saw it, but now I'm like, I don't need it. That could be the case. And then we have some more photos of the MAC holiday collection. We have a bunch of different things here. The thing that I thought was pretty interesting were these extra dimension cheek palettes, which I thought looked pretty interesting, but in the end I don't think I really need this. I would have to check them out in real life. Maybe if I can swatch them I can really decide, or maybe watch a video. I'm quite interested in this extra dimension skin finish formula because I have a blush from that Black Cherry collection that I really like. That's the one in Room to Bloom. That one I really enjoy. But I don't think these palettes are gonna be it. Like, gonna be my continuation of buying and using this formula. I don't really like the packaging that much. I don't really like the embossing that much. So I think in the end I'm gonna skip on these, although I quite liked how this looked when I saw it at first. Okay, there's one last thing that I wanted to chat about. And I haven't really seen this on Instagram. I've seen this on a Cult Beauty website. And there's already a new eyeshadow palette by Vive that's on their website, and I think you can join the waitlist if you want it. So it's just sitting there, just waiting to be released, but it's already like on their page. And this is kind of like a rosy neutral palette. This is called the Muse Palette. It's gonna be €49.50. I've heard pretty good things about Vive and their eyeshadow formula and just Vive in general, and their other eyeshadow palette was not exactly what I like, and I thought it was a bit too expensive to have shades in there that I wouldn't really wear. But I like all the shades that are in here. There are a lot of mattes in here. I usually like a little bit more shimmers, like a little bit more of a 50-50 split of mattes and shimmers, but I don't mind it that much. I like the shades in here, those kind of like rosy bricky nudes, some dusty purple shades, a pinky shimmer. I think this looks pretty interesting, and I think I might pick this up to try this formula. But if I would pick this up, then maybe I would want to try like the bronzer duo, or maybe I would want to try a blush by them. I think they have some quite interesting blush colors. So I'm kind of like curious about this brand, interesting to see what their quality is actually like, because I haven't seen many people review it, but I still have heard some good things. So I would like to see what their eyeshadow formula is about. So I'm pretty interested to maybe buy this palette, but I think it's about a week before this is officially released. Whew, okay, so that's gonna be everything for the new makeup releases. I hope I didn't forget anything. Whew. So if I forgot anything, I will talk about it in 2 weeks probably. I've already talked for way too long. Thank you so much for watching. If you stuck it out to the end, thank you so much for being here and staying with me. I really appreciate you. Let me know in the comments what you think about these new releases. I would love to hear your opinion. Did you agree with me or maybe not? Don't forget to like this video if you liked it, and don't forget to subscribe, and then I will see you in my next one. Bye bye!